garden for now. I'm going to do some grading out of just some 804, a little bit of 804 gravel. So I put this out here the other day to try and finish off a bit of a hill on a pass. The issue is with any hill on any type of pass is the problem with it pulling away by any kind of machinery driving up and down it. So I was looking for a solution that was going to try and maybe keep most of that gravel layer. So number one solution is to make sure all machines are forward drive at all times on the hills, and number two then is to make sure it's well maintained. And then I guess as well as that is if we put a decent layer of small gravel like an 804 on it, if it does move, it's going to be easy to regrade it. Anything like this, kind of what you can see here, this rough under base, so this base that I put down underneath it, don't want it to come up through it because it's harder to handle. Like once you're trying to grade, it's very difficult to work with. So I thought I'd do a small update as I'm passing. So the update is on, I haven't done anything in a while. It was just very busy, and it's very difficult when, this time of year when you get dark evenings to do video. But this is all the rock there broke out. There is some actually moved elsewhere because I hadn't room for it. I'm hoping to get a crusher for that soon. So I'll have a video of that obviously up. Crusher should make a good job of that for me, and leave me with a lot of gravel to work with. I'll probably screen all that as well. Some of it, screen some of it to get a 4-inch out of it so that I have like a nice stone for drainage and that. This is all dug out as well, this pile of perfect time. I want to screen this. It just was in the way, so I just made a roadway across it. I'm not sure if you can see on ahead, but you can see where I've just trailer spread. I've just tail door spread the 804 on the hill here. So I'm going to walk here now, grade it all back and see what I've left. If I need more, I'll get more. Obviously the ideal solution to any hill would be to put concrete on it or that, but just the expensive concrete is a wee bit, just not something that is always that feasible to go start buying concrete to put out in the field. So this is kind of like a semi-temporary solution to keep hopefully maintain paths up here. This is all rock that I've taken from that original spot. This field was all meadow ground. It was all like just more or less peat or turf, I guess some people call it, I suppose. So we'll start grading here now. Here already. They've already tested out the pass. The issue with that is usually, as you can see, my rough stone base on one side there is, they'll pull that up on me, so it just turns it into a mess. fairly light here, but I don't really need it on the lower part of the hill, so it's on the upper part of the hill I need it. We'll have some spare up here, so probably walk against myself on the hill. Pretty tight here. Went a little bit wide on the left hand side for the base, and that was just because what happened was this lay for a little while and it was a rough pass, so it was just about fit for machinery, and there was large rocks and stuff in it. So as I said, I didn't get a chance to film it the other day, but I got a little bit of help from a friend, and I dug out most of the rough stuff, and the upper part of this hill, which I'll show you in a few minutes, was actually all shady rock that I had actually hammered and then pulled it down the hill to give a nice decent base, left it a little bit more walkable, I suppose. So I don't want to pull any more of that down here because I want that on the upper side, so I'm just going to level that back. Just trying to get an idea of where all the gravel is in a minute. And see what quantities I have, to see can I evenly spread it, or am I going to actually need more. So say I am pretty high. There was a large amount of I had some rock on this hill, which was like a semi-shale, weathered hard rock more like, so it wasn't really shaly, but I dug it out, and then at the back, but just up along the ditch line, there was actually huge depth of clay, so kind of mixture of topsoil and kind of just a sub-clay or slight channel. So I dug it out and pulled the rock back down into the hole so that I'd get a decent base, because I had a problem here. This was all mucky and rough, and there was no kind of, you didn't really know where you were here. So the path had veered a little bit to the left hand side, which I originally had kind of kept it straight, so I'll swing around to give a better perspective. So as you can see, the path line comes kind of straight from that rock, and it came originally straight, but it had veered to one side off the actual stone that I had put in. So as you can see, that's why there's actually rock on that side there, so I filled that up with rock. I don't really want the path spilling out there as much. I'll try and keep it a straight line heading towards this point here. It's just when you don't get around to things for a while, things kind of get absorbed back into the system, I suppose. I'm sure a lot of people understand that. It's just very hard to be everywhere at once and get everything done. So as I say, I'll finish grade this. I'm rough grading this to kind of get an idea of how much I need, and maybe if I need to take some back, so I don't think it's heavy in other places, and I may not need it all in them places. So it's just not that I'm saving that much, but it's significant enough at the moment. The price of fuel, like 804 and that, a load is, I think it's upwards of probably €250 where we are here, which is it's a lot more expensive than it used to be, and especially when it's kind of been out here in farmland, it's kind of very hard to justify in some ways, like you're just putting it out on a kind of a rough roadway, so don't really want wasting any of it. Like, it's, you always have to be kind of thinking of these things to make sure that you're trying to conserve as much as possible, I suppose. It's not always possible, but you have to, when you need it, you need it. But trying to walk through on this. So this might give a better perspective of where it might be slightly easier to see that it's a little bit higher from when I go from ground level. So as I make my way up, this is quite steep, this hill, so I'll try holding the camera level to give you an idea of how steep it is. It's very, very difficult to tell on the camera, but it's actually a pretty sharp gradient. So I'm kind of holding the camera level and you can kind of get an idea. So snap the machine off here. So you can see that's a big mound, so I'm just going to keep leveling that out. This has got kind of mucky here because there's actually some cattle being wintered out here. They're just kind of walking around wherever they want, so I have to get the fence back up here before they actually pull all this down. So this is only here a day or two. On the upper side of this hill here, this whole hill here is all rock, this entire thing, and the rock actually used to come up to the field level. There was more or less no, very, very small layer topsoil on the top of it. And you can see here where I missed with the hammer, some rock exposed there, another little bit over here. So what I did was I dug all this out and pulled this all back, all the small shale, and you can see now what I mean. I'm going to try and grade that just for the hill alone. Up here it doesn't really matter. I'll put some dust across this like the way I've done the rest of that. I'll probably do another bit of a video on this. I've done that quite a while ago. It was one of them things I had to get done just in time, and I hadn't time to film it, so I've managed to get that whole pass built entire way out through the ground, and I've done exactly the same thing, only I've used the dust. The dust seems to be working out okay. I've heard a lot of arguments about it. I think it's if you use it in the case of where there may be ground that's soft and underneath it, it's never going to work, because you're going to have a case where it's going to mix in with your topsoil or whatever soil you have, or muck, and it's going to actually go up into the cow's hoof. So this is going to be predominantly a cow pass. We don't want that. So this is actually nice and hard now, which normally happens. It rolls in pretty well, but I found on the main hill it has washed out in places with the rain, so I might have to change that whole plan and put a little bit of 804 on that hill as well. But we'll get back to grading this here now before it gets dark. upper bit's a wee bit narrower, so we're going to make sure it's covered right out to the sides. The lower side I'm not concerned at all. Fence it off and maybe even throw some try grade the top side of the field back into it, maybe just to kind of tidy it up, but because it is so wide. But here it's just wide enough here, and no machine up here any wider than this. I will see what this I don't like this rock sticking out here, but it's not sharp, so it won't cause any problems. But I'll have a look at it later and see. I might hit it with the hammer a few times and just kind of get it straightened out. The issue is this time of year, of course, is the ground's wet. We're in winter time here now, and deep winter, we actually had an awful lot of rain there, so as you can see the whole sides of this field here is all wet, and can't do a lot with it. I'd like to be able to track out on the field and go down along the side and kind of press this back in, but at the moment I can't do it. So because I just pull half the field with me, especially on the hill. The machine would more or less slide on the hill at the minute, so I need the dry weather to be able to finish it. So pull a slight bit more up here on the top of the hill, and the reason for that will be is if you're pulling with a machine, with a tractor up the hill here, and you're pulling a load behind you, the tractor gets to this point which is just going level, and it's still pulling the load behind it, so it's going to start to pull up this here. So I'm going to pull another little bit of stone just up here to try and stop that happening. So I know I got plenty down here, so I pick a little bit up. To the larger stone and underneath it. It makes its way down through the larger stone. Once it's packed in, it tightens, whereas the larger stone tends to loosen and come free, and obviously we all know what that means, but so that's not too bad now. So it's kind of finished this now. I'm back down the hill here, walk in reverse, and I pull back because I know that I'm okay down here, I think. And if not, I can take some from underneath me and take it down, but fairly good. So that was only one 20 ton tipper load, so the 8-wheeler load, and I wasn't sure. I actually thought I'd need more, but as far as I can see there, there's nothing wrong with that amount anyway. Might leave me enough to even wipe the capacity of places. That spreads slightly. As I said, it is only a temporary measure as well. As long as you maintain it, it's kind of temporarily permanent, but it's a solution that works, but it's not ideal. So I'll just use the land roller on this afterward, and just pack it in with the land roller, so you know very vibration, anything, but it packs in pretty well. Like the dust packed in very well with the Land Rover. Do it a few times, not like just one run, but a few times, and it seems to pack in really well. I obviously can't pack it all with the digger because I can't get actually out to the edges or to the centre with the machine. I can get out to the edges only. Some people ask sometimes there, like, how you grade, and to be honest, I was given a couple of tips, but I was never actually taught, and it's kind of something you self-teach. I'm watching all the time the edge of my bucket. I think I might have explained this before in the video, but some people would just like to know because it can be very difficult to kind of work the machine, but keep that constant steady run of the bucket. But when you get to know the controls, I'm not a professional machine driver, but when you get to know your controls, they become naturally to you. So like they're kind of natural to me, but I'm not on a very high, professional or experienced level. But I'm watching the corner edge of my bucket all the time when I'm doing this here now, and by doing that I know I'm kind of following the ground level beside me and also the hill level behind me. So I'm feeling the curve of this kind of roadway, so I can see from over here, you can see the edge of my bucket is very close to level with that topside. I know I have a cut to make here, it's getting a wee bit higher, and I'm going to cut it gently. But I'm always watching you that corner of the bucket or this corner of the bucket. A brief glimpse from the centre to see am I actually cutting the gravel, and then otherwise I'm watching the corner. When you start to watch the corner, you want to keep that bucket for finished grade. You want to keep that bucket like kind of flat on its base, so that you're cutting into your gravel. You can grade like this, which works just as well in ways, but your finished grading, if you want that nice flat finish, you get it best by keeping the back of your bucket down against the gravel, and it kind of gives you that nice smooth finished texture. It's starting to get slightly dark here now, so but hope you enjoyed the video, because I'll probably have to knock it off soon. I'll see what it's like when it comes. I'll put the lights on soon, but usually when you put the lights on, it's very difficult to grade. Grading at night's not really a task, really. It's just kind of one way for the daylight. It's just it can be done, but it usually ends up a little bit more humpy or more humps than that. But by me grading back at the bucket this way, I can see where the high spots are. You can see them usually anyway, but spots you can't see by bucket and pick them up. Use the flat edge of your bucket all the time. In case of roadways and stuff like this here as well, I found out of just more or less experiences, I would really like to get a tilt grading bucket, because the advantages would be great for doing a finish like this here now. I would keep it probably slightly higher on the outsides, because what I tend to find happens over time when by packing it in, by driving on it, you end up with this high spot in the centre. So I'd be always trying to keep it low in the centre and keep more to the outside. It means that whenever it does pack down, it levels out. If you have it packed in well, Obviously, if you have a good ground base and you have a good roller, or maybe a good vibrating roller, or something, or even the machine that you can actually, maybe if the ground's dry enough, you can throw the track out on the grass, track it on in. Yeah, you'll probably get it packed in a bit better. Like. So as you can see, it pulling a slight wee bit with me all the time. Nothing major, but it should dress up pretty nice. Say, I hope I don't need any more. This is obviously as well a little bit rough for the cows, probably. Not bad. It's not I don't find it too shady, so flying 804, sometimes the rock used can be very sharp. The larger the stones in the rock can be rather sharp, but these kind of slightly round, so it should be okay for the cows. But if it's not, I find if it's not there's any round in it at all, the cows will pull it up. So the cattle walking across all the time and just keep lifting it. So when I get this finished, I want to get this fenced properly, so get proper posts in along this, and get it more or less safeguarded against cattle kind of making the field and the pass into one, because they just walk in and out wherever suits them, and before you know it, you have your topsides mixed in on top of your stone, and there's no transition at all, and nobody really knows then where the pass is. So put in a permanent post along your passes, and at least you know where you are then. I've got a little bit hay there now. I might have to go back there and pull a little bit off that. I feel that that's there's a little bit of a drop here. I feel that the incline has followed the field probably a little bit too much. What I want to achieve is a nice smooth drive straight up without too much raise, because even a very small percentage of raise in the incline causes a lot of problems. People who do this will understand what I'm talking about, but most who don't understand the hill will just think it's normal. But if you have machinery on it, I can guarantee you it will never last unless it's been constantly maintained, which if you don't do it right the first time, or do it as best as you can, you will be returning to it. You will have issues with it. So I don't want to round up this. I want this more or less nice flat line straight for the hill here, and then I can raise on up here. Very soon, whenever I get that rock crushed, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of travelling on this with the tractor and trailer, and probably moving a lot of stone. So this is going to actually test it. Once the machinery's on it, then it'll be well tested. of that is I'm sitting a little bit this way. I'm not sitting level here. So that'll be another reason for pre-grading it. So by pre-grading it, I left myself with a fairly good stable base to work off. If you're working off a base, the problem is without having a tilt bucket, you can't adjust the bucket to suit whatever way you're sitting. So you end up having to kind of build yourself a level base before you actually start to finish grade, or it's just not going to work out. It's kind of getting a bit dark. It's like not really much for help, so. Setting levels. So I'm going to pull some in here where my left track was sitting. Even if it's just temporary, just to get myself level and I can grade that properly. Videos recently have been like this last few months, and built all those roadways and stuff like that, and it was literally just between moving some stone and just grading out the passes was the height of the walk around here anyway. And other than that, it was very busy, so just getting the chances to do videos is just kind of sometimes not that easy. Not all the excuse for it, but at the same time, when I build up so much content, it can be hard to get through it. Oh, we're getting there now. We get this kind of whipped here this evening, and leave it nice and good polished job on it, kind of. To my left here is another small pass that I built a few years back, and it's only a cow and quad track, so there'll be a few of those have to go in the future along the land as well. Just small cow tracks that you don't need to take. Don't need a roadway as such for a tractor, but just get the quad there to go whatever, do whatever, and cows to walk down. So it's getting quite mucky there because the bottom of the hill here, there's quite a lot of rain, and there's a lot of muck in some of that rock, and it kind of washed down there, but I'm hoping for the best, but it should be okay. It's going to come up through the stone no matter what you do, and the cows will make sure that there's muck on the stone, so it's one of those things that you can't avoid, but it comes to it in the future, we'll tidy up that wee corner. I was fairly confident I'd put a lot of stone in underneath that, so there wasn't much, there definitely wasn't much clay left or any soil left under it. So once I get this to more or less even finish, the land roller will look after the rest. I'll probably give it a couple of runs with the machine, track it up and down. Maybe I'll just kind of give it a chance to bed in. There's some stones I don't really want to come up to the top, but sometimes it's hard to find an odd one. Surface, and then I'm finished grading it then. Nice with a nice bit of kind of pressing it in. A small corner here in this here now, so this is also liable to kind of come apart over time, but it should be okay. I'd say. Mention on some of these that other people will be probably thinking when they're watching this is leaving a kind of slight grade on the actual roadway to allow water to run, which is something that's difficult enough to do depending on what way the ground is. So if you have a natural fall in your ground, it's easy to do it because you're kind of moving with it, but if you don't have it, you're kind of walking on a level kind of plane all the time. And in the machine it's easier to walk on a level plane, it's easier to feel where you are. But as I say, if I had a grading, tilt grade bucket, I'd be able to put in a little bit more grade on it and keep it to one side or that, and ensure that kind of you get a runoff, because with obviously with cattle and stuff you have a lot of muck on that on the roadway, so you want to kind of keep that moving towards the field, so that it keeps your roadway kind of clean. Once the rain comes, you get enough rain and they're off for a little while, it'll kind of self-clean itself. That's working out pretty nice there now. It's just left it a tiny bit there, nothing really to spare. A little bit hay there, but I kind of need to leave it slightly hay. Again, I need to, well actually in fact what I'm going to do, I'll try and get my track a little bit higher on this side, and I'll try and peel it back. It's not very easy, but I'll try and get something. I pull some of this up here. I can get a little bit more height on my right hand side, which the digger just kind of rose up there. So that means now I'm able to take another bit of a cut off that right across and leave a little bit of a chamfer. So hopefully everything coming from the hill might head that way. These piles and all that, I'll move them at a later stage whenever I get this rock moved, because that'll be topside and hopefully recover that. grading this now, as I said, is literally going by the ground, going by the soil layer, following it, going flush with it, try and keep the whole thing that it all gels and makes it. And all the while I'm sitting at a bit of an angle here, so I'm after getting that kind of small bit of a gradient on that. See, I'm actually starting to come level again now, so it's cutting the centre. So, kind of going to be a small transition in that. Just have to work with it. So, start here somewhat. Yeah, transition. Is that for that to be too steep. Might not be able to avoid it completely. It's vast improvement on how it was. People would probably like to argue that there's plenty of ways that there's only one way to grade something, and absolutely I'd like to hear them, but the way I look at it is there's plenty of different ways of doing things. Not everything, but yeah, there's ways of doing things, and grading, I think it's whatever works for yourself. Whatever, if you can get the gradient, it won't matter if you're efficient enough, as long as you're not go back in yourself all the time. But you're getting finished gradients, I think it's fine. Like Grado would be probably a lot faster, but it's not as easy to just get a grader. We don't have one, but for some of the other parts of the pass, I did use the land leveler for when I was spreading the dust with just the quarry dust. And it walked the treat, like, you know, I had to do a few passes nice and gently and just keep shaving the top off it. But this here, because there's corners in it, and because I had a limited amount of this gravel, and because of the price of it, I wasn't intent on wasting any of it, so I had to kind of be very careful with where I used it. Personally, I would rather be using like a land leveler, or using a box blade, or even a grader, of course, if we had one. Or yeah, as I say, you generally need, for a grader, you would need a lot more depth of gravel in a kind of a case like this, and a wider kind of pass, as a grader would be. Any grader would nearly be too big for here. And then once you start grading deep, you're going to pull up a lot of the stone you don't want to see. So primarily put this up as a grading video, as some people were looking to see the machine in action, so there you go, there you have it. This is a small job I needed to get done, so thank you very much for watching again. Don't be afraid to comment, and like if you like it, and subscribe if you like it and you want to see more, and I'll try my very best to get up some more and check out some of my previous videos, and yeah, stay tuned.